Six goes from a terrified child to a hardened survivor, but her breaking point was the day Mono freed the Thin Man. She tried to pull her friend back from the television, only to end up captured by the nightmare he unleashed. She reaches out for help, but Mono is just out of reach, as she is dragged into the transmission. Yet when Mono finally frees her, she lets him fall into the abyss. Why? The answer lies within Little Nightmares VR, Altered Echoes. By stepping into the headset as Dark Six, we finally see what happened inside the signal tower. Today we are breaking down why Six refused to merge with her own shadow, how the Nowhere finally broke her spirit, and the real reason she betrayed Mono. Hey, I'm the globalcherry. If you enjoyed this deep dive, stick around to the end to like and subscribe. In Little Nightmares 2, Six and Mono form a deep reliance after he rescues her from the hunter's cabin. From that point on, we see her clinging to a comforting music box that clearly meant a lot to her. They save each other's lives countless times, which makes her ultimate betrayal at the cliff so devastating. Why did she let him go? That exact question likely haunted Mono during his long isolation in the abyss before hardening into the Thin Man. To understand her choice, we have to look closely at what transpired within the transmission right up to the moment of betrayal. When the Thin Man captures Six, he rips her soul apart, leaving behind Dark Six, her displaced shadow. While Mono braves the Pale City to rescue her, the entire plot of Altered Echoes unfolds from the shadow's perspective. Dark Six has one desperate goal, which is to recover what she lost and become whole again. The signal tower provides its victims with an escapism they never want to end. For the adults in Pale City, this escape comes from television screens. For Six, the music box traps her mind in a beautiful illusion, leaving her entirely unaware that she is gradually mutating into a giant monster. This tune clearly reminded kids of their peaceful existence before the world turned into a nightmare. Even Noone from the Sounds of Nightmares podcast was heard humming this exact same tune during her therapy session. She even describes Nightmares to Otto, where she explores different locations in the Nowhere. So this indicates future monstrous locations were projected into her subconscious to slowly break her before actually pulling her there.
But it didn't take long for me to go bored.
In Altered Echoes, Dark Six travels through distorted fragments inside Six's broken mind, which are memories violently twisted into a new reality by the signal tower. Inside the tower, she witnesses absolute horror, including children entranced by television screens with their heads literally being absorbed by them. She passes wall drawings of the Eye, a crying child who looks exactly like Six's past self, and the other lost children who once crossed her path. But worst of all, Dark Six was hunted, lured by the distant melody of the music box Six adores. The Thin Man emerges from the shadows, relentlessly pursuing her through the glitching corridors of her own psyche. Oh no, the man who was thin! As Dark Six navigates this dream prison, the tower forces her through distorted versions of real-world locations. She passes through the school where all the porcelain children are dead.
What the heck is that?
And a desolate train station where time runs strangely. Even if the train station was better than getting a goodnight kiss from the teacher, as Dark Six, you encounter something odd.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
In the station, she receives a warped phone call that many players believe is the cryptic voice of the ferryman, echoing the words he used when he first dragged Six into the Nowhere. Upon boarding the train, Dark Six encounters gluttonous guests long before they ever step foot onto the maw, all kept in a perpetual slumber by the Conductor, a creature with a long neck and hat, irritated by noise. You might wonder why Six's mind would manifest these creatures when she has never met them before. The signal tower is entirely capable of creating brand new memories by rebuilding her mind, aside from old ones. They serve as dark premonitions of the future, possibly subtly directing her towards the maw by manipulating her into believing she would finally find peace there. This psychic journey then thrusts her into an eerie mansion guarded by the Naturalist. a sheeted monster with a camera lens for an eye. Driven by a sick obsession to document and preserve, he disintegrates living creatures with his flash, capturing them forever in photos. Just make sure you don't let him take your kid's yearbook photo. Finally, Dark 6 finds herself inside the music box itself, confronting Monster 6 as she greedily clutches the toy. Dark 6 desperately tries to reach her physical body, but the staircase collapses beneath her. Instead of helping, the physical 6 simply watches her own shadow descend into the abyss. Why did 6 run from her own shadow every single time the music box was wound? Every time Dark 6 winds it to progress from one location to the next, it looks as if 6 doesn't want Dark 6 to become whole with her. The tragic truth is that 6 no longer recognizes her own shadow and perceives it as a threat. The moment the Thin Man ripped her soul apart, 6 lost her true identity, viewing Dark 6 as a monster rather than a missing piece of herself. The only thing she had left to cling to was the music box. The tower exploited this trauma, using the toy to pacify her mind while mutating her physical body. This explains the music notes scattered throughout the game. We were forced to wind the box to progress, playing right into the tower's illusion. By the time Dark 6 reaches her, it is too late. 6 became Monster 6, and Monster 6 will attack you unless the music box is actively winding, keeping her completely trapped in a comforting lie. The ending of Altered Echo shows Dark 6 breaking out of one of several music boxes, stacked in a pile after 6 let her fall. Mono is stuck in an endless cycle, leading to his inevitable fate as the Thin Man. This stack suggests that Mono has actually tried to save 6 multiple times before, in previous loops, only to fail. In those timelines, she likely died as a monster, leaving Dark 6 permanently trapped while Mono grew into the Thin Man. But during the events of Little Nightmares 2, young Mono changes his strategy. He violently destroys the music box. This breaks 6 out of her monster form and frees Dark 6 at the same time, but it came at a devastating cost. When 6 returns to her body, she is completely broken. She rejects her shadow, and not only that, the tower scrambled her mind to the point that she barely recognizes her own friend. It is incredibly telling that within the fragments of 6's consciousness, Mono is completely absent, yet the music box is present everywhere. Stripped of her memories, she only sees Mono as a hostile force who destroyed her comfort. When they reach the chasm, she hesitates because Mono feels faintly familiar, but her overwhelming anger wins and she lets him fall. Why did the Thin Man kidnap 6 and pursue Dark 6 then, if not out of anger? During those failed loops, Mono lost his sanity and became a tool to maintain the status quo of the tower. The reality is that the Mono we loved is gone. This adult Mono hunts Dark 6 because he sees her as dangerous to the stability of the loop. Keeping Monster 6 pacified in a beautiful dream keeps everything in order. He hunts her across her psyche to stop her from reaching her body, knowing that if she reintegrates, 6 will wake up. But Dark 6 escapes anyways. She follows 6 to the maw appearing during her times of extreme hunger in the first game. She is not forcing 6 to be evil. It is her soul's way of reminding her that she is incomplete. 6 has made terrible choices to survive, but she is ultimately a deeply traumatized child, living in a reflection of the real world, where society destroys our humanity, forcing people to be swallowed by their roles. And as you know, in the world of Little Nightmares, a happy ending doesn't exist. The nowhere is simply a place of endless pain and suffering. 6 was gradually turning into a monster herself, but Altered Echoes gives us a glimmer of hope. The flesh walls move because Dark 6 no longer fears them, and in Little Nightmares 1, after 6 absorbs the lady's powers in the maw, Dark 6 finally manages to fully merge with her. By becoming whole again, maybe Dark 6 may finally be able to change 6's ultimate fate. Would this also mean she now remembers Mono and tries to retrieve him? We'll never know. What are your thoughts on this theory? I had a lot to think about while playing the VR game. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and that's all.